Okay, so I was looking on the YouTube there for some how-tos on doing the starter on the Toyota Matrix, and found that there's a couple of guys that showed you how to do it for a regular old Matrix, but nobody for the XRS model. So I got to looking at mine, and I saw that everybody wants to take out this cooling shroud with the fan and the reservoir, and well, it doesn't appear that on the XR model that you've got this cooling hose that goes from the radiator and gets over up under to whatever the hell this thing is down in there. In any event, as much as I'm up for taking a shortcut, that seems like the long cut to me, because there's going to be coolant everywhere, because that hose probably doesn't get out of the way too easily. I suppose if I unbolted it, I might be able to slide that shroud out, but it seems like a bit of a pain in the ass, and the starter is pretty well buried underneath the those intake tubes right there. So I'm going to get underneath the car and see if it's a little bit easier to get to it from there. So we started by putting the car on ramps, because I can't fit my fat ass underneath it otherwise. Okay, step 2. Well, I like sparks and fire and destruction just as much as the next guy. First thing you gotta do is disconnect this negative battery terminal, because I don't like sparks while I'm laying under a car in my face and all that kind of good stuff. So we'll disconnect that and reduce the likelihood that, I don't know, something unpleasant will happen. So now all the power is disconnected from the car. Okay, well, that's the starter as seen from the bottom of the motor, and it seems to me it's a lot easier to get to it from the bottom. You've got that one bolt right over there, and that's the clip and the power that everybody talks about. I think getting to the bolt on the top side is going to be a bear, because with my giant sized gorilla mitts, I can't get my big fat hands through the top very easily. But we're going to start by taking all these. Okay, so I got the little nut off of the starter and pulled the plug out. That was pretty simple. Now we're doing the lower bolt here. It's not too bad. It took a little bit of effort to break it loose. It's a 14mm socket on there, and you could probably double up a couple wrenches, but you can see there's the bolt. It's kind of long, so it's a lot of back and forth for about a minute, and then you'll be able to get it right out. There you go. So that's bolt number 1 out. Now we're going for number 2. Alright, so it's really hard to see, but that little bit of light down there, there's a little bit of a hex head, and that's where this silly bolt is. And it's a bit of a pain in the neck to get to. I'm going to try it with the extension bar like everybody says. But that's probably going to at least require the extension bar and maybe a short socket, because I got one of those 6-inch bars. Okay, so I got it, and it broke loose really easy, so I don't think it was as bad as I thought it was going to be. I undid that little wire there that goes into, that's probably like the idle air control valve sensor or something like that, just because my hands kept bumping into the wires and I didn't want to break them or rip them out. But you can see the ratchet down there in the socket, just kind of barely. Again, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It came loose pretty quick. Okay, so it's out. That's the top bolt. Took all of about 3 minutes, I think. Okay, we're back into the car again, and I'm going to try and navigate this starter out. All the wires are disconnected. And that sucker's in there. So maybe a couple wraps with a hammer. I'll just leave you down here for a second while you go get that. Alright, I smacked it a few times with the hammer. Mostly on the side right here by this bar, and it popped right off. So, all the nuts fell off too, so they're coming out anyway. So I'm backing it up, kind of turning it, and it's coming down gears first. And out it comes. So there you go. Looks like the teeth are a little chewed up. I had strange sounds, like it wasn't retracting the gear quick enough. So I imagine the what do you call it? The flywheel's probably got some chips on it too, but hopefully the new one will last and the flywheel won't have a problem. So there's the brand spanking new one. No remans here. Straight from AutoZone. Actually ordered online. They got it here in like, I think it was maybe 5 days. Came from China to San Diego and right here to Columbus, Ohio. So let's go put it in. Okay, these are the 2 bolts that hold that starter in. They appear to be exactly the same length. There's a little bit of corrosion in the ends of them, so I'm just going to brush on a little Permatex anti-seize. Honestly, I don't really give a crap if they seize in there or not, because I'm not doing this again. But I just brush a little on the end, so that'll go make these things thread in a lot easier. It doesn't need a lot. It's really just for the purposes of making life easy on installation. That's about it. And I guess they won't ever seize in there, so the next guy will have it easy. After, I guess, an hour, about soup to nuts, it's all in, it's buttoned up. The only thing left is to reconnect the negative cable on the battery. Okay, so we're going to put on this negative cable to finish everything up right here. And of course going to reset all my radio stations. Let's see here, on tidy. That's a 10 milli socket on that terminal, just so you know. 14 milli on both the other bolts for the starter, and that one extra power bolt, or new power bolt, was 1/2 inch. That's it. So here we go. I don't have any helpers with me now, so I will leave you on the sidewall for the startup. Well, that sounded really good, a lot better than the old one. So I'm going to call this one a success. Thanks for watching.